The intricacies of law can be intimidating. One man took on the job of helping a tribe organize their own code of law. Former Associate Judge Joseph Morsette is not only trained in law, but is also a member of the Chippewa-Cree Tribe. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Monty.
Well, we're talking about a code of law. What is a code of law?
Well, there's 564 federally recognized tribes out there. There's many state recognized tribes. And because they're pre-constitutional, they can design their codes however they wish to design them. Some design them under customs and traditions of their own local customs and traditions. Some follow states and they just adopt state laws, or some do kind of a hybrid of both. And so it's really unique to be able to be in that position to be able to help this tribe, my own tribe community, to go through this process at this time.
Yeah, and you know, you do have an affiliation with the tribe. You're part of the tribe.
Yeah.
Your father actually worked on the code before you did and kind of handed it down to you. How disorganized was it?
Well, you know, it's kind of the part of it's not all their fault. The tribes are in a position where they were just recently, from 1934, being able to reorganize under the Indian Reorganization Act. And so tribes have really used customary law to be able to write their, do their own codes. And then after 1986 is when our tribe actually sat down with the University of Montana to go ahead and put a code together. What they never did was they never envisioned how you're going to follow that up. And so it's not really all their fault. It's that they took a model and then they didn't really follow up with how you're going to, like states do, where they do a statute and they do an annotated code every 2 or 4 years.
Well, what can be the problem then with having a code that is a little bit disorganized?
Well, the problems that our tribe is going with is that a lot of it is customary law. And so trying to codify that and put it in writing is one problem. And then when you do go down that road to codify it and put it in writing, are you going to really follow that? And if you are, and you have judges in there that are going to follow it who are law trained, then how are you going to enforce that and make that accountable to the people there that in the past historically had under a chieftain system, or then have followed maybe just customary laws by their aunts and uncles enforcing the laws.
Okay.
And so we're going in two different directions with our law and order code as we are today, customs and traditions, and codifying our customs and traditions as well.
And the codifying, that's just getting it down in writing? Is that
it's a simple form, but it's not that simple in some regards. It's about how you're going to organize it by title, by parts, by chapters, by subsections, and it's also how you're going to lay it out by if you're going to come in and you're going to cite to it, whether you're the Bar Association, the Tribal Bar Association, or anybody that's in that wants to just cite to it for the courts.
And what's your role in all of this?
So my role was to actually help the tribe codify their law and order code, that they have a code in there that they're trying to take and make it their own. So since 1986, they've had the 1986 version, and under our Chippewa-Cree Tribal Constitution, it allows to amend a law and order code, but you amend it by resolution. And so they've amended their law and order code by resolution and by ordinance. And so they've never followed up by citing back to how you would put all that together.
Sure.
So you have on the table, you have all these resolutions and ordinances and the original law and order code, and then multiple versions of that law and order code.
Sure. It sounds complicated. It's a lot of detail. You know, what is the most difficult part for you going through this process?
Well, the most difficult part was to try and find out where the starting point was, going back to finding the starting point. And so you look at our Constitution requires that the Secretary of Interior, the U.S. Secretary of Interior, is to pass and to approve of our law and order code. So I had to find a resolution that actually said that. Mm-hmm. So I found that. Then I found the law and order code itself, the 1986 version. So that's the farthest back we go. Although our reservation was created in 1916 by a congressional statute, we have no codified law and order code prior to that, in between. So that was my starting point. Then finding the multiple versions out there, finding all the resolutions, the ordinance that go with that, and then trying to help the tribe 2011, October 2010 and to September 2011, help them organize all that, and actually connect it all to the final version of 2011.
And that's what it sounds like. You're almost like a private investigator organizing and connecting all of the dots.
Yeah.
It's great work. Thanks for coming on and trying to explain to us. It sounds very complicated, but you did a great job telling us how to do this.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot.